Welcome to this webinar on Mission Control. My name's Trevor Dornbos, and I'll be taking you through many of the aspects of Mission Control project management in the next 45 minutes. If you need details, there I am on the left there on the screen. That's my email if you'd like to reach out with any questions. I've been a Salesforce user for about 24 years and deep in project management solutions on Salesforce for about the last 9 or coming up to 10 years. We'll cover off the why of Mission Control, why people are using Mission Control, the aspects of the value to them, the evolution of Mission Control, where it came from, what types of businesses use Mission Control, and then we'll go through into the demo. So if we look at why Mission Control, well, first of all, it's built natively on Salesforce. Obviously, if you're on Salesforce already, you're looking at Salesforce, it's probably one of the big ticks for you already because it's installed natively into your Salesforce org or database. Doesn't access outside data, so you've got the full security you have with Salesforce. So all that data and the application is under your control. And it works out of the box. So literally in less than 30 minutes, you can download Mission Control from App Exchange, Salesforce App Exchange, into your Salesforce org, Sandbox, Prod, what have you, and have it up and running. Even have a sample data option so you can actually test out some of the features without having to load your own data. We don't have tiers in Mission Control, so no tiers means less tiers. You have access to 100% of the application. And what that means, you choose what you want to surface in the application, what you switch on, what you switch off, what different types of users see, from perhaps timesheet users only need to see a few aspects of the solution, whereas project managers and resource managers may want to see other aspects. And you control that all through the Salesforce admin. Salesforce configuration, so everything you do in Mission Control is using Salesforce, right down to leveraging all the Salesforce capabilities. Obviously, I mentioned security, but things such as validation rules, notification rules, additional approvals, flow, what have you, as well as updating page layouts. If you feel that some of the screens I'm showing are a bit busy, don't be too concerned, because in the page layouts in Salesforce, you can choose what fields you show, hide. You can even create your own custom fields. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the word custom, but when I say custom, it means configuration, click to configure, or declarative configuration. If you want to have a read-up of Mission Control, how to install it, how to use it, all that information is available online on our website, including from App Exchange, a quick start guide on these are the steps you need to go through. If you want the implementation guide, simply reach out, we'll share that with you. The user guide, knowledge base, online support, all available there. Now, I'm based in Sydney, Australia. We're originally headquartered in Australia, which we're established, but we have a large team globally. We're all 100% remote. We have a large team in the US. So you're getting support pretty much across the globe from pretty much all aspects of the day. The value of Mission Control to customers. So back in 2022, we had an independent consulting company, Klein, go and interview a number of Mission Control customers. And of those, 50 were happy to go through, deep dive into their P&L statements and their systems to see, well, what was the aspects of Mission Control that had an impact on their business, and what was it? And that's really worth a read, because some of those results are phenomenal. 6,000+% sounds like a huge amount, but with the low entry costs for Mission Control and the incredible value it can provide, those are very, very real figures. So really worth considering. The evolution of Mission Control, that actually started as an internal built solution for Chris and Colin, our co-founders, now CEO and CTO, to manage the delivery of their Salesforce projects as a systems integrator, implementing Salesforce for other customers. They needed a way to track time and the projects. And that morphed over time. So we've been on Salesforce App Exchange for pretty sure over 10 years. I think it's 11 years this July, could be correct. And it's grown with our customers. So we have 3 releases a year, and pretty much most of the features that go into Mission Control come from our customers, things they'd like to see. We've all customers from all walks of life. So there may be some features you don't need. Hey, simply switch them off. or some that you didn't even know were available in a professional services automation solution. So global company, global customers, and yeah, certainly we're growing exponentially over time. So what sort of companies use mission control? Well, it's not just pure play professional services or delivery. There's companies in all walks of life. We have insurance companies, we have architecture companies, we have construction companies, and of course, IT services, you name it. There's people delivering training. There's one local in Australia that actually delivers training for Salesforce, and they manage all their projects, their training projects on Salesforce with mission control. Bit of a who's who across those industries, just close to 50 customers across those various industries. You may recognize some of the names there, and you should be able to see this back in the recording. So if you can't stay for the whole session, certainly there'll be a recording loaded to our website. And if you registered to attend, you'll be getting this recording as well. And plenty to go on. Now, what's in mission control? I'm not going to go through absolutely everything, but it's really to give you an aspect of the key areas of mission control. People think, oh, right, it's just project management. Well, to deliver your projects, you need people, you need resources, you need assets, you need external, internal people, and you need to understand their availability, when they're working, what their working days are, if they're on holiday, paid time off, annual leave. If you're doing billing, you want to work out what's the cost of delivering a project and what are we charging that at? And are we actually making or losing money? When we actually need to allocate people, do we do that by individuals? We look at specific teams. Do we need people with certain skills? So being able to actually pick and match those things to actually get the right people is really powerful. We've seen that as we go through the demo. From a project management perspective, there's a number of ways we can create projects. I'm going to show you at least 3 today, maybe 4 if I include the project clone. And we're going through project requests and creating a project from scratch. Management style. So whether you're agile, waterfall, agile fall or agile, whatever you want to call it, mission control caters for all aspects of project management. And one of the key features is there's multiple views you can have of the same data, depending on your preference. If you like Gantt charts, if you like a list of all the actions to be done, if you prefer a Kanban view, that can be viewed in those views, both under the project and standalone, in your preferred view. And being able to actually manage all those deep aspects of projects if you need to, if you're tracking baselines, if you've got risk and issue management, you really want to see that critical path, those are all in there for you. For those people who do track time, there's a number of ways to do that in mission control, and looking at both from what's determined by the project and allowing people to choose themselves. Is it billable? Is it non-billable? Is it project delivery? Is it internal admin? Is it training? Being able to get those aspects, which feeds into things such as role utilization. The project financials, we'll only be touching on that lightly today in one example, but any way you actually want to shape your project, how you bill it, whether it's time and materials, fixed fee, combination, we can cater for that as well. Program management, not really for today's session. That's how software development companies like ourselves use mission control. Certainly our development team uses mission control to develop the mission control release cycle. So all those requirements, user stories, sprints, releases, that's all done within mission control. So we certainly drink our own champagne internally. Collaboration, well, as you'd expect, we're built on Salesforce natively, so we leverage things such as Chatter. We also have a few other aspects that we'll be going through. I'll touch on a couple of those, such as the status report and read-only page. There is a Q&A panel and a webinar chat, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to put it in there. I'm happy to respond if I find the time and it's appropriate. And then covering those different ways you can actually look at things in those productivity tools. So let's get straight into the demo. Now I'm going to look at this probably from 2 or 3 different aspects. I'm going to go in firstly, perhaps as a project manager, and look at the ways I might be creating projects. Then at the bottom of that, I'll be looking to create a project from an opportunity using a project template we've already created, showing you a couple of ways to do resource assignment. Now, some of that is around, for those who've used mission control, and I see 1 or 2 names from existing customers, the resource assignment wizard. We also have the new auto assignment wizard, which is extremely powerful. I'll be logging on as Alana as my project team member, really just to show different ways you can shape mission control. You don't need to show everything. We'll be seeing the team member view, showing a couple of aspects, coming back and finishing off that project, showing what happens from a billing perspective with milestone completion, doing a bit of a deep dive into another project on all sorts of aspects. And then to finish off, we'll be looking at that from the executive, if you like, helicopter level view of the sorts of things that people in the executive or the resource planning side of things would like to look at. So let's go into my demo. So I've got a number of tabs here set up, and you might start your journey in mission control, much as this screen here, which is I'm logged into Salesforce. We look at the top left, I've got the Salesforce app launcher, and I've got access to mission control community, which is Experience Cloud, Salesforce community, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, what have you. And I'm in mission control under the console. Now, the console, depending on what you give access to, is where people create things, they can progress things, they can deep dive into managing things, and for your system admin, how they can control the overall system-wide settings for mission control. Now, I wanted to just touch on this super quickly for those evaluating mission control, because there's a great little aspect, the sample data buttons. You might even want to download mission control into a sandbox and create some sample data so you can have a play with it and then blow it away when you're done. So when you're creating things, we've got a bunch of wizards that simplify some of the things you might want to do in mission control. Now, these are available all through the system. This is just a collation of those core features. From creating a new project. I'm going to touch super quickly on a role. A role is where a piece of work, an action is assigned from a project to a person, to an asset, to a placeholder. So a role could be an individual, it could be a meeting room, a piece of equipment, it could be a placeholder. And you can group those roles into teams. So by capability, so maybe consulting team, by locale, maybe Australia, by deep locale, maybe New South Wales, where I'm located. And then when you're searching for people and you do need to find specific things, that gives you that capability. If you're tracking skills or would like to track skills, you can build out a skills library and have a skills matrix and assign those to the roles at individual levels. And there's even a skills development process built into the system. I'm not going to go through absolutely everything, but you can see, get a taste of what's in there. The different views you'll see of mission control. We'll go through a lot of these. We'll go through the Kanban view on the whiteboard. We'll be logging on a timesheet. We'll be showing the action pad. We'll touch in on risks and issues if someone wants to see those, as well as the retrospective board. And then the management pad is when you want to deep dive. And we'll be deep diving into this project later, but that's one way you can get into it there. So what about creating a project? If I just click new project, I'll just call this a webinar. There you go. So if you can see me on camera, I've actually got an arm in a sling, so it does make things a bit tough when we're actually typing. So I just have a webinar project, and at a minimum, I need a project name and a milestone to get going. I can add some milestones if I want. I can put in a value for the project budget. I can tie that to a Salesforce opportunity. I'm just going to go with the absolute minimum and launch that project. And then from there, it's got me my default layout. Now, I've got admin settings. I've got everything absolutely switched on, so you don't need to have everything, but I'm seeing everything on my toolbar here at the top right. There's a lot of features I want quick access to. I've got the progress ribbon, which is going to show the status of my milestones, where they're up to. And I've got a number of tabs under the overview here. And I've got the beginnings of a work breakdown structure with one milestone. Now, I might very quickly say, you know what, I just want to create another milestone. So I'm just do that quickly. There's a lot of other features I can put in here. I'm just going to save that. And I need to give it an owner, so I'll give it to myself. There you go. And of course, it gives you those validation rules, so you make sure you have that minimum there. And we can see that's created. That's a page layout. So if you do not need all these fields when we pop up that window, you can go into edit as an admin, Salesforce admin, and choose what fields you do have. And then I can look at my work breakdown structure and say, hey, I've got 2 milestones. Now that's great, but what if you wanted to copy milestones from another project? Well, that's what the milestone loader is for. And this is typically to load milestones from template projects. Now I've got a number of templates in my system. So I might say, look, I've got, you know what, I've got a fixed price project that we're going to be seeing a lot of today. What I'd like to do is just bring in the requirements and actually just bring in the whole lot and all the information underneath it, and let's load that. So you can bring in part or all of other projects. You can go and then add from other projects. So you could actually build out your project from multiple projects. So I don't need those ones I started with, so I'm just going to quickly delete those. The beauty of doing this is not only does it give you the structure of the work breakdown, so there's our milestones. If I expand that out, in green, you'll see the actions. I've got placeholder roles. I've already got hours allocated for my schedule. When we log time, we'll get the actuals, and it'll update real time in the system. And then if I've got any more levels, I've got milestone actions, and I've got some checklist items. So we'll see what the reason for those as we go through. So that's really powerful. Now, there's a lot more we can do with that. Other than doing this, I'm just going to absolutely blow this one away. Let's delete that. And I might say, I've actually got, oh, it doesn't like me. So what if I went to something like my implementation template and say, well, what if I just wanted to copy this another way? And because we're in Salesforce, it actually gives us that feature to just clone that project. We're taking a whole copy of that project, including the underlying billing setup. So this is a fixed fee milestone billing project. I'm keeping all the data here, and I can choose what I want to change, but this is set up as fixed fee. It's based on the roles, so the billing rate, whether it's based on the skill, rate card, or standard, we're doing by the role, expenses, all sorts of other aspects. You can go through and choose which of these you want to keep, which you want to delete, and you can just simply go that, and we'll just call this a test, and clone the project. And you can still, once you've cloned that project, go through and delete, add, edit, update, whatever, until you're happy with it. Once you are happy with it, how do I make this project a template? So it's not a template at the moment, but let's say I've made a whole lot of changes. I'm pretty happy with the structure. Then I simply go to edit, and under the edit, now on my page layout, it's right down the bottom. I'd say I want to set that as a template. And that's then made available for when you want to have those templates used for automation and a lot of other aspects of mission control. A lot to take in. So we've gone to the console, we've created projects manually, load, clone. I've talked about project templates, and the last one I want to talk to is the project request. So there's a bit of automation that comes out of the box, well, a lot of automation with mission control that comes out of the box. And it could be a matter of, hey, what about if I, sorry, and here's some project templates. What if I don't want to create a project from an opportunity? What if I want to create a project when something else happens in the system? Perhaps if someone logs a support ticket, a case in Salesforce, I want to create a project, or I've got a request form for internal or external, would like to generate that. And that's what the project request object's for. Now, out of the box, you can request, have automation with flow, what have you, to say when we have certain criteria met. In this example, we've got account, lead, contact, opportunity case. You can use any standard or custom Salesforce object, not just what's on the screen. Select a template, and then a start date. So taking the templated project, realigning the start date, and then creating a project. And that's great for automation. We use that extensively ourselves internally. At certain stages of the sales process, we generate projects to track the client acquisition cost. And then when an opportunity is won, we generate a project to track the cost of goods sold, things that are happening after the sale. So extremely powerful. Quick checkpoint. So let's go to opportunity to project creation. And an opportunity to project creation, we start, as the name would intimate, in a Salesforce opportunity. Reasonably standard page layout. And you can see from my screen, I've added 4 fields here as part of setting up mission control to allow the automation for project generation. I've got a generation method of opportunity, which is one of the number of ways you can create projects. So if we look at that, you could create a project from an opportunity. You can also use Salesforce products so that milestones can be selected from one or more project templates, depending on the products you sell. So let's say you sell 2 or 3 modules of software and each one has different project delivery requirements, then you can use that to tie those products to delivery components from several project templates and put them into one delivery project. And there's also other options here as well. Now, I'm going to use a template implementation fixed price, one we were talking about earlier. And we've got a tick box here, which I could select manually, say generate project. And in my related list, we'll see I've also got the mission control project object there, currently 0. So, I was testing that earlier. So if we wanted to add some automation, and this is the only automation I have in my org, is I can have a Salesforce flow, and this one's very simple. When I select close one, what I want to happen is I want that generate project tick box to be marked as true. So when I do that, no hands, that's ticked. That's running asynchronously, running in the background. And when I hit refresh, it's going to show that the project's been created from my template. It's been aligned to my selected start date. It's had the amount from the opportunity default. So I've got the account, the opportunity, and those fields. If there's more fields that you have within your opportunity, either standard or custom, then you can map those to the project as well. So we've done that for many customers. So if I go into the project, there's a few aspects. Now, just a quick checkpoint. What we've done here, if we've created the project, I'm going to dive very quickly into a couple of aspects. Probably the first thing we want to do is resource it. Now, my role has dictated when I log into a project, this is the view I come into. So I come into the work breakdown structure here. I can see there's my milestones, there's my actions. I can see there's an alert here saying that this should have started. This is today. If you are watching the recording from the US, that is day, month, year, in case that doesn't look quite right to you. And we know we need to get this resource. And this one down here is at risk because that's dependent on this one starting. So straight away, out of the box alerts. If you need more alerts, Salesforce capability, their notifications, validation rules, what have you. Now, if you've seen my demos before, and I'm sure a couple of people in the session have, you'll probably expect me to go and resource this using the resource assignment wizard, which I'll show you super quickly. And the resource assignment wizard, really powerful because what I've got built into my project template is a preference of where I'm selecting my teams from. So it's actually pre-filled the resource assignment wizard that I want someone from the consulting team and someone who's got a skill of configuration. Now, I could just select the person in here. I could go, oh, yeah, I want Kai Lenny, fantastic. But best not to do that because I don't know how available Kai is without having to look at calendars and all sorts of things. And don't know if he meets that criteria. If I do this, I've got all the details and it's going to bring back from all my consultants, all my teams, people who meet that criteria. And it looks like I've got 3. So today's the 14th while I'm doing the demo and all 3 of my selections here are available. And I could choose one or more of those. Now, if I wanted to, I could actually even spread that and say, I want to spread that 8 hours across 2 people and save that. And then they can get notifications when they've done that. And also a daily digest, which we'll touch on. But wait, there's more. What you may not have seen is the auto assignment. So this is a reasonably new feature. And I've added this to my menu bar here. And what the auto assignment does is give you options to auto assign based on preset criteria in your project and within the system. And what the auto assignment wizard is going to do is come up the method. I'd like to get recommendations. So I could go auto assign, it just picks what the system feels is the right person. Do I want that based on the team that people belong to, from the consulting team, dev team, or in my example, we're using skills. So this is actually going to go and search for my whole project, every placeholder role find matching roles for each of those based on the skill, based on the length of time in that skill, based on length of time in the team, and give me a number of people to select on. And I can see these are the skills that were required for the project. So I'd say, fantastic. I'm going to choose Alana here, top of the list, most available. And then Mick, look, Mick's great for project management. I could select Mick for training, but I do like using the same person who does the configuration. So I'm going to select Alana. And then look, yeah, Lane's the best option there. So very quickly, in less than a minute, I've actually found people for my whole team based on their availability, based on their capability, and a few other criteria in there. I'm going to assign that to the people, and it's going to show what that assignment looks like and the job done. Now, if I just quickly refresh my work breakdown structure, I can then see my individuals. So super quick. We're kind of excited with that new feature, and I know a lot of our customers are as well. Quick checkpoint. So we're pretty much finished in part one of this system, and we'll come back to this in a while. And what I'd like to do now is look at what does it mean for Alana as a project team member. And the value of that is really being able to determine what people can see, what people can do. So first of all, there's a number of ways you can notify Alana. And this is an example of the Mission Control Daily Digest. So you can send that out every day, maybe once a week, what have you, so that people know even before they log in, what have they got on their plate. So we can see anything that's on for today, anything new, things you're waiting on other people, things that are overdue, if you're an approver, any time logs or expenses. So extremely powerful. There's other notifications, such as you get a new action assigned, you can get an email notification. If there's a dependency you're waiting on, you can also get a notification. And those notifications can also be in the system as well. So let me put on my user hat. I'm just going to quickly, as an admin, I'm going to log in as Alana. This is super useful when you're testing those views. I'm going to first log in as Alana. It's going to default to my admin view, and I'm just going to go and have a look at this custom app that we created. Now, a custom app in Salesforce is essentially a cut down view of what you want to show people. So we saw the console before, Mission Control Console. Now, Alana has view access to that, but only to certain parts of it. And we've also set those up as tabs across here. So there's actually a lot she can do. She can go, I'll go to the individual tabs, or I'll go and have a look at these items. So if we go, let's have a look at the action pads. One action is where you're assigning a piece of work to someone in mission control. So Alana's logged into the action pad, and she can see, look, there's her requirements. She's got some things that are overdue that she hasn't worked on. There's the implementation services. And I did forget to send her a chatter notification, so I could have done that as well. Now, if you don't care about login time or anything else, you can just mark that off as complete. If you do care about those aspects, then there's a bit more that you could do from this screen as well as others. One is login time, one is raising risks and issues, one is using the checklist manager, checklist item manager. Now, this is the layer below the action where Alana's just making sure she's got things completed. That's great for little checkpoints. Doesn't take much time at all to do that. And she might also decide she's going to log a bit of time while she's on site with the client. This is a pick list field, so this can be whatever you want it to be. And you might just put in 4 hours for that. It's already auto-assigned to the correct action. You may require notes, so using those validation fields from Salesforce, you can emphasize how that works, and you can log time. One of about the 8 different places you can log time in mission control. And then if we just quickly hit refresh, then we'll see of the 8 hours scheduled, 4 are being completed, 4 remaining. So Alana's got really good visibility of what hours she's got left to work with. And depending on how strict you are, whether she can log that time. This is defaulted to billable under the project, and whether she can choose to log that as non-billable. And it's great for seeing, what's on the plate. What have I got? Is there anything overdue? There's those ones we saw at the top. She can drill into those, her totals, any checklist. And then she might say, well, what if she's a bit like me and she's more visual? and you might prefer a Kanban view of the same information. So let's have a look at that. And I've got a few filters you can use here. This filters all the way through mission control. So you could actually say things, actions ending this week, just to filter that down. And that way it's only giving me a couple of things. Nice and easy. So we can see the card here has the project milestone action, a unique number, and the bottom 5 fields, whatever you want them to be. There's a little cogwheel sitting here at the right, and I've just got start and end date, number of checklist items, hour schedule, completion percent. This could be any of these fields within the system, including your own custom fields, including the icons you want to feature on the card. And I can see here, 4 out of 8, the progress pass halfway through. There's that alert saying we should have completed this already. If we want to chatter back to anyone on the team on the project, we can chatter in there. We can go to those checklist items again if we need to, can raise an issue, and we could actually finish the login time here. So let's do that. I'm going to log time here. So another place we can log time. Say, look, you actually got back to the office. Work completed if you need notes on that. And we could just mark that from in progress to complete, or being a Kanban board, we can utilize that feature and say, look, yeah, that's complete now. Gives me a chance to take a sip of water while my internet catches up. The view I've gone into is very old school. It's like planned as the inbox, and progress is my desktop, on hold is the pending folder, complete is the outbox, and cancelled is the rubbish tin or garbage can. That column heading can be changed to any of these standard fields or your own preferred fields. So I just go back to my, let's just reset the filter so we see everything. You could actually set this to priority and start prioritizing your task as well, and say, well, what priority do these things need to be in? And we'll look at it from that perspective, as well as other areas of things that you care about. If we look at things such as action owner, we can see there's multiple people here in this view. So what else? So Alana might also just want to do everything we just showed you, or I showed you, within her timesheet, because the timesheet gives you that capability. So we can see that requirements meeting's been marked off as complete. We can see 8 out of the 8 hours been logged. We can see the time's been logged here. And we can see there's some other projects she's got here. Internal admin, which is non-billable only. Product education, which spelled very incorrectly, which I think has got billable, non-billable, and other internal. And we can also see not just the weekends are blocked out because they're non-working days for Alana, but also she's got some personal time off, some annual leave booked for Friday. So that's come from the system. So really powerful. If you're leveraging Google or Outlook calendars, I haven't got this set up for Alana, unfortunately. Oh, no, here we go. We can see that. Is any other meetings you've got coming from your calendar can actually show any other events, I should say, that get generated in Salesforce through that integration with Google Calendar or Outlook, can be shown here, and you can log time against those. For example, internal meetings, what have you. A lot that you can cover off. Quick checkpoint. I know we're sort of running a little low on time, so pretty much from Alana's perspective, she's done what she needs to do. So I'm going to quickly go back to my project view and just finish off the project milestone. So if we just close that out and come back to here, we'll see there's our project. Now, I'm just going to quickly hit refresh on the overview tab. And this is the project where we assigned Alana to the action. I can see that's complete. She had 8 hours scheduled, estimated, 8 hours completed or actual. Excuse me, sip of water. And that's completion is rolled up also to the milestone. Now, this project is fixed fee milestone billing. So what's also happened in this example, it's generated a billing event for that amount. So under the billing tab, myself as the deeper project manager who's allowed to look at billing, I can see that based on that completion that we've generated a billing event. And if you want to integrate this into your finance system, there's certainly ways of doing that with integration apps. We do that ourselves internally. Add a Preca for mission control, and we've got a lot of customers that do that integration into all sorts of different apps. So just touch on that a little deeper, super quickly. And how would that work? Now I've defaulted my my billing event to be in draft status. I can see the financial treatment. We're using Australia Goods and Services Tax. We'll have an invoice template. And the related list, this is where you'd actually have those billing event integration. So you can actually have this push from here to your finance system to the right GL code, ledger code. When that payment comes back, it'll actually reflect here. And that's really powerful. We'll see that in another example. Quick checkpoint. So let's deep dive into another project. So I'm just going to quickly close out here. I know we're covering a lot today. Like every good cooking show, here's one I've done earlier. Now, my ACE Roadshow implementation is using exactly the same template. I can see all the things that have happened with my project. I can roll this up to the milestone level and the phases, and I can see my completion, what's happening overall with my project. What's really powerful is the insights. Now, the insights will actually show you a number of aspects in all these charts showing here. You can determine which ones you actually want to surface on here, even by role. So you want to see how your roles, your actions are going. The burn down in an ideal world will not look like my burn down here, but you'll see the ideal burn down and are we on track or not? Any risks or issues, other aspects of the project, as well as the values from an hours and a billability. So even if you're doing fixed fee, you'd like to know, look, what's the likely billable value based on the hours delivered and the people's charge rates, and what is that margin looking like? We can also see here with this project, we had 98 billable to start, no non-billable. We logged some non-billable, and it looks like there's more hours needed to complete. So there's a whole lot of aspects of that could come into play. Other things within by default, and you'll see I've got the milestone ribbon here. Again, you can add that or take that away from the page layout. There's a lot of tabs here we could go through. I'm going to touch super quickly on risks. So if you're managing risks within your projects or standalone, if those risks turn into issues, you can certainly cover those aspects there. And of course, the all-powerful Gantt chart view. So within the Gantt chart, being able to actually get that information in a way that some people prefer with the dependencies. Maybe we just look at that from where our milestones. I can see the completion, see what's completed, how the progress is going, what that is looking like, and where we're likely to finish, even if I need to move and manage things. And because I've got people, we just pop that back here. Never works 100% in the demo. We're just going to leave it like that. You may notice little grayed out areas. This is showing where people are assigned to this project are not available. So they're actually on annual leave, holiday, PTO, what have you. So if you try to actually move, say this over when that person's not available, it'll actually push that out. And what if you want to get that information? Oh, sorry, retrospectives. I know it was one area I was going to very quickly cover. If you do retrospectives or reviews of your projects, either at completion of milestone or at the end of the project, then Retros is for you. It gives you a retrospective board, being able to build out your reviews, tag them by criteria so you can report on that. So, what are we doing well? Let's make sure people focus on that. What needs improvement? And that's always good. What can we do better? And make sure that the next time we have a similar sort of project, that comes out as well. On sharing all this information with your customer. So what if you need to share this information to stakeholders, both internally and also externally? Then the status report. Now, I could either run this ad hoc or schedule this to run on a weekly basis, where it gives that view and maybe just send the project summary and with some notes from the project manager on where things are up to. And this is really powerful. We can see there's some risks and issues, even a change request, what the project looks like, when we started, when it's likely to end. And we're sharing the whole project detail here. So milestones, actions, really powerful for the end stakeholders. They can say, when's this likely to happen? When's this likely to finish? This is in progress. This is planned. There's still some time to go in this. a little glitch on my Gantt chart. You can share a Gantt chart view, any issues, risks, change requests. And we also have a customer read-only page, which I really like. Same thing, you can determine how much of the project you share. But what's really powerful is that Gantt chart view. So it's a read-only view, but if you've got very complex projects, it means someone can actually come in and have a look at where things are up to and say, okay, let's have a look here quickly in the build. Now you can see when that's likely to happen, even who's working on it. So really powerful, including all sorts of other aspects. Knowing that I'm probably talking a bit much and a bit pushed for time, just to close out, I wanted to cover off, maybe from the executive level or resource manual level, what are some of the key things that may be super interesting to people, and why would they look at that? Well, first of all, because we're built on Salesforce, we leverage Salesforce capabilities everywhere possible, including dashboards and reports. So building your dashboards and reports is the same as if you're already using Salesforce. It's a very powerful report building engine. And you can have multiple dashboards, multiple reports. I've got some examples here by where I'm looking at the P&L for the whole company, by the individual projects. We've got fixed fee, milestone revenue. When's that likely to happen? And any way you want to slice and dice your professional services automation. What I didn't touch on is things such as cost performance index and schedule performance index, tracking your margin and cost performance index, tracking if you're on time. Project we just looked at, we could drill through into the report, run that report real time, get the latest and greatest data, and then drill into the actual project and have a look at that data. And I just realized something I did forget to do. Just bear with me. Always happens is I forgot to log out as a learner. So it's actually changed my access view. Track for new players there. So if we just do a quick refresh, we'll get a better view there. Okay, so that's what I was going for. So now I can see the Insights tab. Cost performance. This is telling me straight off that my margin is actually falling down behind where it should be. 1 is where the project should be. So 1 is good. Above 1 is even better. Below 1. So we've got like red, amber, green settings. When the cost margin falls down a bit, let's focus on it. Schedule doesn't look too bad at the moment for schedule performance. We can deep dive into that in subsequent sessions if we need to. We used auto assignment for actually finding our resources. What about for the people who are managing those people? I want to get a view forward looking across the whole team. Now I've filtered to one team using one of those cool filters in Mission Control. And I've said I'd like to have a look at both current projects where we've got actions, any forecast opportunities we've got, where we've got some resource role forecasts, as well as any holidays people have booked. Now, the red line is showing the capacity of people I'm viewing, my whole team, and the total hours they've actually got allocated, and that gives the capacity percent. You can change those settings. And if you want to drill down on a more granular view, you go into the planner. I'm looking at weekly, but you can go daily, weekly, monthly. And I can see the individual roles, how busy they are. Oh, I've just changed the view here. It's a bit higher for Alana. And you can see what makes that up. So why is Alana at 52 hours? What's that made up of? And do we need to change some projects to change that scheduling? I can also see there's an opportunity forecast here that's starting in the beginning of April. That's going to impact her time as well. It gives you that granularity too. We can see she's got holiday booked as well. And you can slice and dice that information pretty much many ways that you want to. While you're looking at that, what if you need to change things? And that's where the scheduler comes into play. And the powerful thing with the scheduler is, again, I've got filters all through. I'm looking at my team. If I just hit refresh here, we'll see that for today's date, we should see that action we gave to Alana's there. There we go. We can see that there. You see her hours are filled up for the day. She's got annual leave tomorrow, so we're in luck there. You can also see for next week, she's overloaded. So I can look at it from a heat map perspective and go, oh yeah, there's a lot of red on the page where people are overloaded. So maybe I need to start managing that time. Now I can do a search, use filters, find the right people, and go, you know what, I'm going to give this to Kai, reassign that, and that's going to free up Alana to work normal hours. I can give that to Kai, and I can hit save. So extremely powerful. Same thing, you can look at that by days, weeks, and months, multiple ways, but certainly at the action level. Pretty much run out of time. I hope that was informative for people. I hope that actually made sense. Maybe you learned something new today. If you do go down the track and you're evaluating mission control, certainly if you go to G2, or used to be known as G2 Crowd, we're very proud of the customer feedback we've been getting there, and certainly on Salesforce App Exchange. And usually, for me, I should say, I've worked for many software companies. I've never worked for a SaaS company where we've had an NPS, Net Promoter Score, so high, so very powerful. If you want to implement mission control, we've got customers that self-implement. We do that with the mission control Aprika team or Salesforce systems integrators. You know, there's a number of ways you can do that. And a lot of our customers, you can see there on the top right, actually are implemented in less than a month. How we support you? So having those calls to understand, we don't just do demos to absolutely everyone. We do have a lot of recorded demos on our website, including this webinar, which will be on our website. And having calls to make sure, you know, are we the right fit for the business? Understanding people's requirements, what they're using now, what they need to fix and change, and then go through, you know, a process of showing mission control, even through to, you know, perhaps doing a 14-day free trial. And once you sign up, the care doesn't stop there. We take you through with our customer success team, an onboarding plan. The person who sells you mission control will typically be touching base at least twice a year, if not more, just to make sure things are running well. There's a lot of collateral on our website that's available, including other sort of aspects, not just demo recordings and training, but also on a monthly basis. Our customer success team will run a Cosmo Campfire webinar, which is focusing on one aspect of mission control, and those recordings go on the websites as well. Learning portal, so you can sign up today to learn deeper aspects of mission control, and perhaps you're going to be getting results such as customers like brands across in Wellington and New Zealand, who by getting everyone onto Salesforce and mission control actually got phenomenal results in reducing time taken to manage projects and get reporting done, and increase their productivity simply by getting everyone in the same system. And don't be concerned if you're small or large. We've got customers with 5 users. We've got customers such as Fortune 100 companies like Cardinal Health that are much larger organizations using mission control. As I said, there's a lot of great information on our website. Please go and check it out. You can download the Economic Impact Report, image of there. There's a lot of ebooks, there's feature brochure, what have you. And you could go to Salesforce App Exchange today. There's a live test drive account. So if you're not up to install into your own org, you can do that, or you can actually install into your own org as well. And there's documentation on how to make that straightforward. If you're not familiar with our website, the company is aprika.com. And you'll find a lot of those resources are available here. If we look at the big features under benefits, the benefits here, the business and economic impact, but certainly under the resources, there's a lot of great information. Thank you for your time. Just bringing my information back up. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. There's my email there at the end of the session. Please feel free to send me an email directly, and happy to take any questions and follow up with anything you may have. Thank you again, and hope to speak to you all soon.